Lust and love are often confused, but they are not the same force, they move in opposite directions. Lust is immediate, intense, and consuming. It seeks possession, pleasure, and satisfaction in the present moment. Love, on the other hand, is patient, steady, and enduring. It seeks connection, growth, and meaning over time. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato described love as something that begins with physical attraction but must rise beyond it, transforming into a pursuit of beauty in the soul and truth itself. In his view, if desire remains only at the level of the body, it traps us, but if it evolves, it becomes a path to something higher. Similarly, Aristotle saw true love as a deep friendship built on virtue, where two people wish the good of each other, not for personal gain, but for the sake of the other person's well-being. Lust asks, "What can I get from you?" while love asks, "What can I give to you?" This distinction is crucial because one takes and the other builds. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus warned that when we become attached to external pleasures, including physical desire, we become slaves to them. Lust, in this sense, is a form of bondage. It controls your thoughts, your actions, and your peace of mind. Love, however, is aligned with reason and self-control. It is chosen, not forced, and it brings stability rather than chaos. Friedrich Nietzsche offered a more provocative take. He suggested that what people often call love is actually a refined form of desire, or even a disguised will to possess. Yet, even within his skepticism, there is a truth. If love becomes obsessive or controlling, it collapses back into lust. True love must rise above domination, otherwise it is merely desire wearing a noble mask. In modern times, this confusion is everywhere. We are taught to chase attraction, excitement, and instant gratification, but rarely are we taught to cultivate patience, sacrifice, and understanding, the real foundations of love. Lust fades quickly because it is fueled by novelty, but love deepens over time because it is built on knowledge and commitment. Lust sees a person as an object to satisfy a need, while love sees a person as a whole being to understand and support. This is why lust often leads to emptiness, while love leads to fulfillment. The difference also lies in time. Lust lives in the moment, love invests in the future. One burns fast and dies quickly, the other grows slowly and lasts. The philosopher Erich Fromm explained that love is not just a feeling, but an art, something that requires effort, discipline, patience, and maturity. Without these, what we call love is just a temporary emotion, easily replaced and easily lost. So the real question is not whether you feel something strongly, but whether that feeling can endure, evolve, and give without demanding constant return. When you choose love over lust, you are choosing depth over surface, meaning over impulse, and growth over instant pleasure. And in that choice lies the difference between a life driven by desire and a life guided by wisdom. But the deeper question is not just how to distinguish lust from love. It is how to master the forces within you that pull you toward one or the other. Because every human being carries both. Lust is natural. It is rooted in biology, in survival, in instinct. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer argued that what we often call love is actually the will to life expressing itself, the blind drive to reproduce and continue existence. In his view, attraction deceives us, making us believe we are acting freely, when in reality we are being guided by deeper unconscious forces. This perspective may feel unsettling, but it reveals something important. If you are not aware of your desires, they will control you. Lust thrives in unconsciousness. It grows stronger the less you question it. Love, however, requires awareness. It asks you to pause, reflect, and choose. This is where self-mastery becomes essential. The Stoics believe that a person who cannot control their desires cannot control their life. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that external pleasures are fleeting and that true peace comes from within, not from chasing sensations. When you are ruled by lust, your emotions become unstable. You feel highs and lows depending on attention, attraction, and validation. But when you act from love, your state becomes grounded because it is based on values, not impulses. There is also a moral dimension to this distinction. Immanuel Kant believed that human beings should never be treated merely as a means to an end, but always as an end in themselves. Lust, by its nature, risks reducing another person to a means, a source of pleasure or gratification. Love, in contrast, respects the dignity and autonomy of the other person. It recognizes their humanity beyond what they can provide for you. This is why love involves responsibility. It is not just about feeling, it is about how you act, how you treat someone when the excitement fades, when things become difficult, when there is nothing immediate to gain. Anyone can feel attraction, very few can sustain care. And that is where the real test lies. In today's world, the line between lust and love is increasingly blurred. Social media, instant messaging, and endless options create a culture of replacement rather than commitment. People are encouraged to chase the next feeling, the next thrill, the next person, without ever going deep. This environment feeds lust. It keeps you in a cycle of desire without fulfillment. Love, however, demands depth, and depth requires time, patience, and sometimes discomfort. It asks you to stay when leaving would be easier, to understand when judging would be quicker, and to give when taking would be more convenient. This is why love is rare, not because it is impossible, but because it is demanding. The philosopher Soren Kierkegaard spoke about the difference between aesthetic and ethical ways of living. The aesthetic life is driven by pleasure, novelty, and immediate satisfaction. This is where lust dominates. The ethical life, however, is based on commitment, responsibility, and deeper purpose. This is where love begins to emerge. To move from one to the other is not automatic, it is a conscious decision. It requires you to stop being a passive follower of your desires and become an active creator of your life. So when you feel something intense, ask yourself, is this just a momentary desire, or is it something that can endure? Does it make you more stable or more restless? Does it push you to grow or simply to consume? Lust will always be loud. It demands attention, urgency, action. Love is quieter. It builds slowly, often unnoticed, but far more powerful in the long run. And the truth is, a meaningful life is not built on what excites you for a moment, but on what sustains you over time. When you learn to recognize this, you gain something rare, the ability to choose wisely, not just feel intensely. And in that choice, you don't just understand love, you become capable of it. And maybe, at the end of it all, the real question isn't who you desire, but who you're willing to grow with, who you're willing to understand, and who you choose even when the feeling fades. Because lust is easy, it asks nothing from you. But love asks everything, and only those who are strong enough to give without constantly needing to take ever truly experience it. If this made you think, even for a moment, then this message was meant for you. Thanks for watching. And if you want more deep ideas that challenge your mindset and change the way you see the world, make sure to subscribe to Cold Truth Philosophy.